You practice for hours. You hit shots and warm-ups. You look confident before the game starts. Everything feels normal. Then the moment comes. Open shot, defender closing out. Your teammates are watching. The crowd gets louder. And suddenly, you freeze. Not because you forgot how to play, not because you suddenly lost your skill, but because for a few seconds, your brain completely changes. And the strange part is, most players don't even realize it's happening. They just know something feels different. Their decisions feel heavier, and the game that once felt automatic suddenly feels uncontrollable. Almost like everyone is watching every mistake, every dribble, every shot, every decision. And once that feeling starts, everything changes. Every basketball player has experienced this before. You catch the ball and hesitate for half a second too long. You drive, then suddenly stop because you're unsure. You pass up the open shot, then immediately regret it. And afterward, you always know exactly what you should have done. That's the frustrating part, because deep down, you know you can make the play. You've made that shot before, probably hundreds of times, in workouts, in practice, in pickup games, sometimes even earlier in the same game. But pressure changes the way your brain processes everything. Now every possession feels important. Every mistake feels public. Every decision feels personal. And once basketball becomes emotional, players stop reacting naturally. Now they start thinking, too much. What if I miss? What if coach gets mad? What if my teammates stop trusting me? What if everyone notices I'm nervous? And once those thoughts begin, hesitation starts growing. Sometimes the pressure isn't even basketball itself. Sometimes it's everything surrounding it. Parents sitting in the stands, coaches reacting to mistakes, teammates watching your decisions, expectations, social media, fear of embarrassment, fear of disappointing people, fear of looking weak. And sometimes that pressure slowly builds over time. A player misses one shot, then starts thinking about the next one. Then they stop shooting freely. Now every decision feels dangerous. And the strange thing is, most players freeze because they care too much. Not because they don't care, because they desperately want to do well. They desperately want approval. They desperately want to avoid failure. But basketball punishes hesitation. The moment a player starts trying not to mess up, their instincts disappear. Everything becomes slower, more cautious, more robotic, and defenders can feel it immediately. Because hesitation changes body language. You can see it. The extra dribble, the delayed decision, the panic pass, the rushed shot after overthinking. It's not a skill issue anymore. It's mental overload. Most players think freezing is a confidence problem. It's deeper than that. The real issue is self-awareness under pressure. Under normal conditions, your body reacts naturally. You see space, you move, you trust your instincts. But under pressure, your brain interrupts the process. Now, instead of reacting instinctively, you start analyzing yourself while you play. You become aware of every movement, every mistake, every possibility of failure. And that destroys rhythm. Because basketball happens too fast for conscious thinking. The best players aren't thinking through every decision. They're reacting, flowing, trusting. But pressure creates internal noise. Now your brain is trying to protect you. Don't mess this up. Don't look stupid. Don't turn the ball over again. And ironically, the harder players try to avoid mistakes, the worse they perform. Because hesitation destroys timing. Hesitation destroys rhythm. Hesitation destroys confidence. Not missed shots, not turnovers. Hesitation. That tiny pause before action. That moment where fear interrupts instinct. That's where players lose themselves. This is why some players look incredible in workouts, but completely different in games. Because workouts usually don't contain consequence. No crowd, no pressure, no scoreboard, no fear of embarrassment, no emotional weight attached to mistakes. But games expose your relationship with failure. That's why one bad play can completely change a player mentally. One missed layup, one turnover, one air ball, and suddenly the player starts spiraling internally. Now they stop playing naturally. They stop trusting themselves. And the worst part is, the more they try to regain confidence, the tighter they become. Because confidence can't be forced. It usually appears when players stop obsessing over failure. The calmest players in basketball usually aren't calmer because they feel less pressure. They feel pressure too. The difference is, they've stopped fighting the moment. They trust their reactions. They commit fully. And they recover quickly after mistakes. That's what people misunderstand about confidence. Confidence isn't believing you'll never fail. Real confidence is knowing failure won't destroy you. That changes everything. Because once players stop fearing mistakes, hesitation disappears. Their instincts return. That's why certain players seem completely different late in games. Not because they suddenly become more talented, but because their minds stayed clear while everyone else became mentally crowded. The solution isn't becoming fearless. Nobody is fearless under pressure. The solution is simplifying your mind. One read, one decision, one reaction. That's it. The more pressure rises, the simpler your thinking needs to become. Not more complicated, simpler. Experienced players understand this. They don't waste energy fighting themselves. They trust what they see. They commit fully, and they move on quickly after mistakes. Another hard truth? Most players freeze because they care too much about how they look. Fear of embarrassment creates hesitation. Fear of judgment creates hesitation. Fear of failure creates hesitation. But basketball rewards commitment, not perfection. The player who improves the fastest are usually willing to fail aggressively, because aggression creates growth. Hesitation creates paralysis. Freezing under pressure doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you lack talent. And it definitely doesn't mean you're not capable. Usually it means your mind became louder than your instincts. That's all. And once players understand that, everything starts changing. Because pressure was never the real enemy. Fear of failure was. The players who look calm under pressure usually aren't calmer than everyone else. They've just stopped fighting the moment. And once that happens, basketball becomes simple again. If you enjoy basketball psychology documentaries focused on pressure, confidence, mindset, and the mental side of performance, subscribe to The Hidden Game.